Well, lovely to see you this evening, the end of another week. So as you just come onto your mats, if you want to have a nice stretch or hug your knees in towards your chest for a moment, make any movements you need, especially if your low back is tight. Sometimes to lie down straight away sometimes feels a bit uncomfortable. So make whatever movements you need, good old yawn, a stretch of the arms back above the head. Get rid of any tension before you begin. And then just come to lie yourself down, whatever position of arms and legs suits you. I'm going to do quite a floor-based flow today, so I'm going to stay close to the ground. Yeah. Settling yourself in. If your back feels tight, you might want your feet on the floor. If you want to come into that full, almost Shavasana position with the legs outstretched, just allow your toes to flop open. So there's a little bit of openness through the hips. We are going to do a little bit on the hips today, so we'll start there if you are lying outstretched. And some of you who came on Wednesday will have heard me talk about a book I've been reading called When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron, who's a Buddhist monk. She's based in America, I think. And I'm just going to start with some words from her that maybe we can use throughout the practice. And the words that we'll start our practice with today is to welcome the present moment as if you had invited it. Why? Because it's all we ever have. Welcome the present moment as if you had invited it. Why? Because it's all we ever have. So as we settle into our practice this evening, just take a moment to let the week go. And if we've had a very busy week, and it sometimes takes, a good few minutes to begin to let go of all of those conversations that you wish you'd had, or that are ruminating, going over things people have said, not said, done, not done. So try just to put all of that aside. It's done, it's dusted, we can't do anything about it. And similarly, let's not try and project ourselves into the weekend and the week ahead. And that's very easy to say and hard to do, I know, particularly at the moment when so many of us are thinking about what's coming next, what can we do, what's around the corner. And the answer is none of us know. So coming back to those words, the present moment, it's all we ever have. So taking stock of what you've brought to the mat today. As I said last week, every time we come to our mat, no matter how experienced a practitioner we are, there'll always be something different going on. It's been warm, and that can really enervate and energize some people. So do you need to really use the practice tonight to kind of counter all of that kind of strong sun energy with something very soft and slow? Or for some people, that heat can be quite draining, quite overwhelming. So maybe you want to use this practice as a chance to create more space for your breath. We can sometimes get quite breathless as it becomes warmer. Maybe use the practice to create a little bit more energy. You don't want to over-energize at the end of the day, end of the week, but just to zhuzh yourselves up a little bit of a reboost. Hopefully something for everybody tonight. So we just take a few more breaths, lying down on the mat. Making sure that you've softened your face. You might even want to just part your teeth and just slide your jaw from side to side, or have a yawn, so that you can release any tension in our jaw. We hold a lot of tension there. I know I certainly do. So just make sure that the jaw feels relaxed, the face feels soft, smooth and open. That the eyes are softly closed. We're not screwing the eyes up. Similarly, you might want to just kind of tuck your shoulder blades a little bit closer to one another. Opening through the chest, elongating through the neck by dropping the chin very slightly down towards your throat. So you feel that there's space. And we'll just take a couple of breaths there. Just focusing again on that present moment, anchoring yourself with your breath. One of the things she says is conscious breathing is my anchor. So rooting ourselves in the present by just following that path of breath. Inhaling, feeling the chest and the belly rise, and exhaling the week out, letting it all go. If you've got your legs outstretched, just over the next couple of breaths, just think about swinging your heels in towards your bottom. So we'll all end up just in a breath or two with our feet about hip width apart and the knees pointing up towards the ceiling there. So really steady floor-based flow to say goodbye to this week. So let's start just by opening and closing the hands a couple of times. Do a little bit on the wrists, do our usual digital detox. So start just by opening and closing the hands. Lovely. And then just turning your palms down, fingertips on the floor, and just tap your fingers on the floor like you're kind of playing the piano. You can almost move your fingers from side to side if you want as well. It's still tapping. Yeah, it just helps release a little bit of tension. And then stopping that, just turning the palms up one last time, making a little fist and just circle the wrist. Circle the wrist a few times one way. And then around the opposite way, just again, just releasing any tension in the wrists, especially if you've been sitting at a computer over a desk. And then when you release the hands back down onto the floor, let's keep the palms up towards the ceiling this time. Sense of space and openness through the chest. Lovely. I want to come into a little moving flow with the arms. So trying to keep that openness that you've cultivated across the chest with the palms up. Just turn the palms down without the shoulders rolling inwards. So try and keep the shoulders nice and open. And float the arms all the way up and just bring the hands to the floor, either upper arms alongside your ears, or try bringing the arms out in a wider V if that's a little bit more comfortable if your shoulders are tight. Softening through the rib cage. Take a couple of nice breaths there, breathing into the sides of the body, all the way down into the very tops of the hips, those areas we're going to work in a minute. Beginning to almost stretch out through both sides of the waist. And take one more nice deep inhale there. And as you exhale, lower the hands with the palms down, all the way down alongside you. See if you can bring the hands down at the end of that exhale. And then just rolling with the breath. We'll do that a few times. So as you inhale, sweep the arms all the way up and back. Again, that conscious breathing is your anchor. So can you really match the movement to your breath so it becomes more meditative? End of the exhale, the palms touch down. And the end of the inhale, that very moment where you're complete with breath, the back of the hands touch the floor above the head or out to the side. So it becomes not just a shoulder mobilization, it becomes something more than that, something that connects us with our breath. All of that helps root us to the present. Next time you bring the arms all the way down alongside you with the palms down, let's pause there. Take your time. Add a little bit on this time. So as you inhale, let's float the arms all the way up and back. Back of the hands might touch the floor. This time as you exhale, give that right knee a little bit of a squeeze. So you can hold behind the knee or interlace the hands around the front of the knee, making sure that you don't shorten the neck by throwing the chin up towards the ceiling as you give that knee a little squeeze. You might want to kind of roll open towards your armpit. My hips quite like that. So you can try that, just taking the knee out a little bit out towards the right, keeping that left knee pointing up towards the ceiling. See if that just helps bring some space to the hip. And bringing the knee back in towards the chest. Let's hold on behind the back of the leg this time. Hands quite low to the bottom to support the hamstring as you stretch the leg up towards the ceiling. You keep a little softness in the knee as you turn the ankle a few times. A few times one way, spreading the toes, bring a little bit of movement there, and then the opposite way. The good thing about this warm weather, I've said before, is that it does tend to free our joints up a little bit. And then just relax the foot, soften the shoulders. And as you inhale, point the toes away from you. You're going to stretch through the front of the ankle. And as you exhale, pull the toes towards your face, push the heel away from you. So we're stretching the back of the ankle. Inhaling, really gentle, so it's not an overstretching there as you point. And exhale, flex. So we're going to keep the foot flexed. And keep that leg extended as you reach the arms all the way back above the head once more. Back of the hands might touch the floor as you lower that right leg. Stretch it away from you, keeping it nice and long until the heel just hovers off the floor, going up through your core so your back doesn't arch. Take an inhale and exhale, scoop that knee in towards the chest. Let's flow with the breath. A few more times. Inhale, arm extends and the leg pushes out away from you. And as you bring that knee to the chest, if you want to bring your nose towards your knee as you exhale, feel free. But then you lower your head as you extend the arms and that right leg. Inhaling. Exhaling. If you are bringing nose to knee, keep the neck nice and long. Make that conscious rolling of the shoulders down away from the ears. Lovely. Smoothly with the breath. So the next time that you meet with that knee hugged in towards the chest, if you've got your head lifted towards the knee, lower the head, but we'll keep the knee where it is, hugged in towards the chest. And then once more, let's elongate that leg all the way up towards the ceiling. You might be able to walk the hands up a little higher, holding around the calf or even around your ankle if that feels comfortable. And you might want to extend the left leg this time. You can rest the heel on the floor or just hover the heel off the floor if that's okay on the back. Lovely. And again, if you want just a little bit more, remember it's the end of the week, listen to what's going on in the body. You can walk your way up that right leg, bringing your nose towards your knee, but keep the legs nice and strong there. Lovely. Then walking the hands down, bringing that right knee to the chest, and then the left knee. Give the legs a little squeeze, we'll rock side to side. And then lower the right foot, and we'll try all of that on the left leg. So left knee, a little squeeze again. I'm just going to take mine out towards my armpit because it kind of likes that stretch in the hip. Trying to keep that right knee pointed up towards the ceiling. Lovely. And then we'll come all the way back through center. Interlacing the hands again, low to the bottom because that's helped support the hamstring early on as we extend the legs up towards the ceiling. A little softness in the knee as you turn the ankle. You might notice, like me, that one side feels stiffer than the other. So try to get into all those little sticky bits as you circle it around the other way. There might be some satisfying clicks and crunches along the way. And then coming to stillness with the foot. So as you inhale, you point the toes, just keep it nice and soft as you point the toes away from you. And exhale, flexing the foot, stretching up through the heel. Lovely, just once more each way. Inhaling, point the toes. Exhaling, flex the foot. So we'll keep the foot flexed, again, without the legs shaking. We'll extend both arms, coming back to that little moving sequence. Extend the arms back. And lower, lower, lower that leg. Again, as low as feels comfortable for you, heel might just hover. Take a nice in-breath. And then exhale, give that knee a little squeeze. Working with the breath, inhaling, arms extend, kick out through the left leg. And then if you want again to bring your nose towards that incoming knee, scooping up through the center, feel free, but bring your head down. Release the head as you stretch out both arms and the leg. And we'll do that just a couple more times. Getting that nice stretch out into the left side of the body. Let's do one more. So inhaling, arms extend, leg kicks out, and then we'll scoop the knee in. And again, if you're rounding up, you might just want to pause there for a moment before you roll the head all the way back down to the mat. Holding behind the leg once more. Again, hands might be really low to the bottom and the knee bent. Or you might have the leg a little bit straighter. Hands might walk up, and you might even lift up and bring your nose towards your knee. You might slide and extend that right leg away from you. You might want to keep the heel down or push up through the heel and have the leg just hovering. It's not high. Let's take a couple of easy breaths there. Beautiful. And then let's lower that right leg. Bring the left knee into the chest and then the right knee. Cross the ankles, widen the knees and just circle The knees round a few times each way. Nice one just to massage out through the top of the buttocks into the low back. And then change across the ankles and the direction of the circle. Just warm up, lubricate into the hips. Beautiful. And then catching hold behind the knees, we're going to roll up to seated, or you can just roll to one side. I'll come around to face you, and having worked out I'm mirroring you, we'll get no confusion over lefts and rights. Now this is when, if you've got a pillow or a yoga block, whatever, you might want to sit up on it. It's not obligatory, but if you've got tight hips, you might want to just perch on the end of the blocks. And so you're really kind of tipping your hips forwards. You can see there that sometimes when we sit cross-legged, we can be a little bit rounded. So just by giving yourself a little bit of height, it sometimes helps elongate through the lower back. We're going to come to seated with your right shin in front of your left, if that's comfortable. If not, just stretch the legs out in front of you in a nice long frog with the soles of the feet together. But if you can, right in front of left. Lovely. Hands on the knees or on the floor. We're going to circle the body round, starting over to the right, over to the left, and then leaning back. So you can really feel there's a little bit of movement around the four corners of your pelvis there. Yeah. So beginning a little bit of remedial hip work this evening. And I think I'll do a nice hip focused class next week for us. Let's just do a couple more of those. A little bit of movement there. Lovely. And then come all the way. So you're sitting right on top of your sit bones there. So we're not leaning forwards or back. You can feel yourself beautifully balanced, that spine at kind of central axis point. And from there, we'll sweep the arms up as you inhale. And as you exhale, swing the hands behind you so you can bring your fingertips to the floor. Fingertips in or out, choice is yours. Roll the shoulders, push into the hands, and lift up through the chest. You might want to just lift the chin ever so slightly, but try not to throw the head too far back. Lovely one to open the chest. If you want to add the hips, you can lift the hips, pushing the knees down into the floor and squeeze the bottom. If that doesn't work for you with knees or hips, then please feel free to keep the bottom down. We're all going to join you there in a minute. And then lowering the hips. Inhaling, sweeping the arms forwards and up. And this time as you exhale, fingertips to the floor in front of you. Now before I come into a forward fold, I'm just going to walk my hips a little further back away from my heels. And then just pad the hands forwards as far as feels comfortable. So the important thing here is our bottom doesn't lift up from the floor. I'll come sideways on. If I lift my bottom, I might be able to lie myself down, but I'm not feeling any stretch. Whereas if I keep my bottom down and have my hands a little closer towards me, I can get that nice length through my spine. But at the same time, I've got an anchor point, my bottom, for that stretch. You can just drop the chin down towards the chest and try and relax that right knee. It kind of wants to creep up towards your armpit. One side is going to feel stiffer than the other, I bet. So walking your hands back towards you. It's a little funny one here, but bear with me. It's a really nice one to get into the hips. So right hand, same hand as the leg in front of you. I'm going to slide that arm across the body out in the diagonal. So it slides across the carpet or the floor. And then come all the way back. And then other side, so you slide the left arm out in the diagonal, but you really try and keep that left bottom glued down to the floor. And then come all the way back. We do one more each way. Those of you working on grass, just have the hand hovering. Yeah, it's not going to slide quite as easily on grass as it does on carpet. One more with that left arm sliding away from you. Beautiful. And then come all the way back through seated. If you can, you're just going to lean into that right bottom. So you can bring that left shin parallel to the edge of your mat. So you're like a little mermaid. And this again is when if you've got a little cushion and you want to prop yourself up on it to balance up through the hips. If that really doesn't work for your hips tonight, then just extend the legs out in front of you. So we're finding that little zigzag or mermaid with your right shin in front and the left shin alongside you. That's it, lovely. I'm going to bring my right fingertips to the floor and the left hand is going to come on the top of that left hip. We've done this move before, we're going to add on. So try and sink deep into that left sit bone. And then we lift up through that left bottom and try and roll your hip forward. So imagine that little hip crest is pointing down towards the floor. And then we try and imprint that left buttock back down onto the mat. Lovely. So as you inhale, we lift and roll. Might not move very far. And as you exhale, sit back down. So just be mindful that it's the hip leading the movement and not the shoulder. Lovely. So we lift and roll that hip forwards. Now, if you wish, that hand, that left hand, as you inhale, you push that left hand all the way across the body. And then as you exhale, you draw the elbow back and take a little twist to the left. So as you inhale, you push that left arm away from you. So we're just bringing that stretch a little bit deeper into the left line of the body. And then you take that little twist, drawing the elbow back, maybe turning the head. So we're beginning to bring some rotation. So pushing away, lovely. And then coming all the way back. Let's do just once more. So some little crazy movements here tonight. Beautiful, just to get into the hips. Come all the way back. Lovely. So this time we'll release, bring that right hand just behind the hip. And the left hand will circle all the way in front of the face, sweeping the arm up and maybe lifting the hips up and take the gaze down towards that right hand. Again, you can just reach the arm all the way up and over and just keep the bottom down. And then we'll slowly, slowly lower the hips. Reach that right leg out straight in front of you. And then bring that left foot either to the inside or the outside of that right leg. Now hook the knee with your hand or your elbow. So you're really bringing that knee in towards the chest. Again, keeping your left sit bone grounded. Left arm sweeps up. And as you exhale, swing the hand all the way back behind you. Fingertips to the floor. And bring that hand again quite close in towards your bottom. So you're not tempted to lean back into it. You're really trying to use that hand almost like a piece of scaffold to keep your spine nice and upright there. Lovely. And let's not forget that extended leg I did for a minute. So kick out through that right heel. Lovely. So we're getting a nice stretch down the outside of that hip as well as a nice rotation through the spine. Lovely. Slowly, slowly release. Extend the legs, give them a shake. And then this time we cross left in front of right, or that long frog, soles of the feet together with the heels away from the groin. And this is my tight side, so instantly I can feel that this side feels tighter. So again, you might want a little block underneath you. So this time we're going to take that circle around to the left. Oh, and this side instantly feels tighter. I don't know what I've been doing. Joe Wicks and his burpees or lunges. He was dressed as a panda today. Poor love, I think it was sort of this full-on fleecy suit. I've never seen a man sweat quite so much. Oh, that feels quite nice just to release into the hips. Let's do one more of those. So again, you're kind of tracing that path around the bottom of your pelvis. And then we'll come to find that lovely balance point right on top of the sit bones. Ready to reach the arms forwards and up as you inhale. And as you exhale once more, swing the hands behind so you can lean into them. There's a little softness in the elbows. Again, you might want to just almost roll the shoulders forwards and then physically roll them down away from the ears. You might want to lift the chin, pushing the hands into the floor so my arms are straight now. And again, if it works for your hips, so rule of thumb tends to be you need to be able to bring your knees down to be able to lift the hips safely. So if that's not happening for you, just focus on that lovely chest opener. Lovely. And then as we lower down, we'll come back again to find that lovely tall spine. Arms sweep forwards and up as you inhale. Ready for that forward fold. As you exhale, bring the hands down. And again, I'm just going to walk my bottom just away from my heels a little bit so I've got some space and walk the hands forward. And again, there's no way I'm going to be able to come down quite as far as I did on the other side unless I lift my hips. And I don't want to do that. I want to keep my hips grounded and get that sense of lengthening forwards. So I'll take a few breaths here, and especially if we're tight, the muscle tends to kind of contract. And so by holding just for a few breaths, we're giving that muscle a chance to say, okay, nothing bad will happen. I can Okay, maybe I'll begin to relax. And it might only be by, a millimetre or so. But gradually over time, there's kind of perpetual pockets of tension that we hold. We might be able just to kind of let unfurl and loosen. Lovely. And then we'll walk the hands back, ready for that little sliding motion. This time the left hand leads. So we slide the left arm out on the diagonal and then slowly come all the way back. I like this one. And the right arm slides out on the diagonal. So again, we try and keep the sit bones grounded, which is really quite hard, isn't it? You want to kind of follow your hands. So see if you can keep the sit bones grounded. Delicious stretch for the back as well as into the hips. And last time with that right arm sliding out. Beautiful. So we're going to come into those little zigzag legs. So this time we're going to lean over to the left so you can tuck your right leg behind you. Again, if that doesn't work for you, just extend the legs out in front of you or sit cross-legged. Right hand to the hip this time. Other hand just onto the floor. Absolutely fine. So first of all, sit down. So really try and sit down into that right sit bone. And then we find some space. You might even find that there's a bit of air between your bottom and the floor there as you roll that hip crease forwards and then try and bring the bottom all the way back down. And again, this side feels much tighter for me. So inhaling, we try and point the top of that hip down towards the floor and then down. Lovely. Oh. One side really does feel tighter. If you want to start with the arm, so the right arm, same hip, pushes away from you, again out on the diagonal, and then we draw the elbow back and you add that little twist, so you turn the torso towards the right. So you push the palm away, maybe look towards the hands, and then you draw the elbow all the way back. Lovely. So that movement might become more generous, or it might be quite small and contained. Let's do that just once more. So last time, turning towards the right, and then we'll come back to center. So the left hand is just kind of in line with the hip, right arm sweeps in front of the face, and you can either just reach up, so you're reaching almost towards the corner of the room, or push the hips up, but take the gaze down towards that back hand so the neck isn't overstrained there. Beautiful, beautiful. And then slowly, slowly we lower down. I've forgotten which leg we did. So this time we'll bring the left leg out in front and the right leg crosses over. I think I'm done that right. If you're doing the same leg, change legs, I think I've swapped over there. So this time the left hand or elbow scoops that right knee in towards the chest. Yeah, we've changed sides, haven't we? Right hand sweeps up. And then again, just bring the fingertips to the floor, quite close towards the bottom. If you prefer to wrap your hand around your low back, then feel free to do that. If you know you're tempted to kind of lean, then almost take that temptation away from you. It's a little bit harder, but it forces you to really think about what the spine is doing. Lovely. The gaze might be over that back shoulder. Oh, nice wringing out. Lovely. And then release. Let's extend the legs, give them a little shake, and then pop your feet to one side so you can find your way onto all fours in the middle of your mat. You might want your blocks to hand, especially if when you come into a child pose, your bottom doesn't quite touch your heels. You can always pop your cushion between your heels and your bottom. But just for a moment, let's plant the hands underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. If shoulders feel tight, take the hands a little further apart. And let's come into that lovely cat-cow, just mobilizing through the spine. So as you inhale, we drop the belly, roll the gaze forwards as you dip the chest, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And then the angry cat as you exhale. And those of you who are here on Wednesday might have heard me say, I was in a lovely class and the teacher said, so we're doing these very familiar postures. Imagine your neck starts between your shoulder blades. So as you inhale, rather than throwing the head back, think about that real dipping of the chest, that squeezing of the shoulder blades. So you really elongate the chest forwards. And then as you exhale, again, rather than just bringing your chin to your chest, think about stretching that space between the shoulder blades up towards the ceiling. Inhaling, so we're initiating that elongation from between the shoulder blades. And sometimes those little different verbal cues can really help you visualize that posture in a slightly different way. Certainly worked for me. So let's do one more. Inhaling. And exhaling, that lovely angry cat. Beautiful. So coming into a little twist sequence now. So looking towards that left hand, I'm going to take the left arm all the way up towards the ceiling, taking a little twist of the chest, take an inhale. And as you exhale, hand hovers as we come into a little thread needle, feeding the arm through. Just follow the gaze to the hand as you inhale, turning the arm all the way up, and then looking underneath that armpit as you feed the arm through. Beautiful. Just once more. So we'll turn the chest, inhale, and this time we'll hold. So we'll thread the arm through. Back of the hand slides off the mat. Just take a time to just bring your head comfortably down and move that right hand a little further away from your face so you can just settle yourself in nice and comfortable. So you might just want to stay here tonight. This is nice, again, just thinking about what you need from your practice. If you have got a little juice left in the tank and you want a little challenge tonight, you could try and balance. So it's the right leg slides back behind you. So it's the opposite leg to the arm you've got threaded underneath. And you just lift that right leg as high as feels comfortable. Lovely. So try not to overbalance there. The higher the leg, the more risk there is of overbalancing. Beautiful. And then slowly, let's bring both knees down to the mat. Push into that right hand so you can send that left arm all the way up towards the ceiling as you inhale. And exhale, plant the hands onto the shoulders. We'll try that. So if that balance doesn't work for you tonight, then keep both knees on the floor. Looking to the right hand as you inhale, turn the chest. And following the fingertips with the gaze as you exhale, feeding the arm through. Lovely. A couple more times. Nice opening through the chest as you inhale. And exhale, we'll feed the arm through. Lovely. So this time we'll hold it, so we'll get that lovely sense of space on the inhale, and exhaling we'll feed the arm through. So take your time to bring your shoulders safely down, side of the head down. And you want a little lean of the body weight into that right shoulder. I'm going to bring the left hand a little further away from my face so I can again just lean a little bit more over towards the right. And you might want to stay there. Nice, just easy, relaxed chest, shoulder stretch. Or if you want to add that little balance, it's the left leg, so opposite leg to the arm that's threaded underneath. Extends behind, you might want to keep the toes on the floor, or if you're a little bit more secure in your balancing, that left leg lifts up. Again, the higher the leg, the more likely you are to overbalance. So keep it nice and small if you feel a little wibbly wobbly tonight. Lovely. And then slowly, we'll bring both knees down. Push into that left hand as you sweep the right arm all the way up as you inhale. And exhaling, bringing the hands down. Let's point the big toes towards one another, widening the knees. And come into that lovely wide-legged child pose or hare pose as it's sometimes called. And again, you can pop a cushion underneath your bottom, between your bottom and your heels if you sometimes find it hard for your bottom to touch all the way down. Stretch the arms out nice and long, elongate out of those hips. Lovely. Let's take a couple of breaths there. And again, our lungs are more towards the back of the body. You might have seen the latest research to help people suffering from COVID is to lie them on their tummies, which seems kind of counterintuitive. We tend to think about our breath in the front of the body, but our lungs sit quite far back. So you can really maybe feel that really blossoming and opening through the back of the body with each inhale. And outwards expansion before it softens as you exhale. But let's keep the hands where they are. As you come back up onto all fours, and just turning your shins so they're kind of parallel, your feet behind your knees. Begin to shift your weight forwards and squeezing the elbows in towards the body. Push into the hands as you maybe lower the hips a little bit. You can come into a gentle back bend. And then we come back into that wide leg child pose, big toes together, heels coming down towards the bottom. Lovely. So you can either just come onto all fours, or as you inhale, we come up onto all fours and then continue to shift down, pushing into the hands, squeezing the elbows in towards you as you just drop the hips. You'll want to stretch the hips in the back and then big toes together, hips to heels. Lovely. Do that once more, so you can make that as big or as small as the lower back permits. Really, again, push into the hands, hug the elbows in, all the way back. And this next time, we're going to bring ourselves down onto our belly, so we'll rise up, just separating your feet, toes behind shins, and then slowly, slowly find your way down to lie on your tummies. And as you make a little support for your head, I'm going to keep my head lifted just so you can hear me talk, but rest your forehead on stacked hands. And then lift one leg, and imagine someone is pulling your toes back and away from you. So you're lengthening the leg before you bring that leg down to the floor. And the same with the other side, lift the leg and pull the toes as though someone is pulling your leg back. And as you lengthen the legs down, you maybe find that you've almost freed up some space at the top of the hips and across the low back. It's almost a miraculous little move there. So a nice one just to work into the back of the body. Keeping the legs straight on the front of the pelvis, even across your mat. Let's just lift the left leg just off the mat. Left leg lifts up, pointing the toes softly, keeping the leg nice and straight, and then lowering it down. So other side, trying to minimize any rocking across the front of your hips as you lift from the top of the hip, and then lower the leg down. So inhaling, left leg lifts. Think about lengthening the leg. Again, a little imaginary hand pulling the toes away from you before you lower on the exhale. Inhaling. So we change legs. We'll do one more each side. So really good one to strengthen up through the back and think about that integrity of the movement rather than just flinging the leg up. Beautiful. So you can stay there with your forehead rest on your hands. Or, like me, you can bring the arms out in front of you, coming onto little tented fingertips there. So this time, lifting the chest, so the gaze is down, but we just lift the chest over so slightly. You can keep the chest lifted as you lift your left leg, and the right hand just lifts, so the fingertips just hover off the mat. And then lowering down, you can keep the chest lifted or lower the chest. And then inhaling other side. So this time, we've got that lovely elongation, right leg, left arm. And slowly lower down. So a couple more, you can always come back to working just the legs. And think about that lovely diagonal stretch, really good to work the deep rope-like muscles that run either side of the spine that help keep the spine nice and strong. Beautiful. So I'm doing one more with the left arm. I think I've done one more, but it's so good for us, that doesn't matter. We'll finish with the right leg and the left arm. Lovely. And then sliding the elbows back in towards you, so your elbows are underneath the shoulders. Let's come into a Sphinx pose. If that feels too tight on the back, take your arms a little wider away from you. If you're with me in Sphinx, elbows tucked neatly under shoulders. That pulling back of your elbows is so you want to slide your body forwards between your arms. And we'll lift the chin so it's parallel to the floor. So beautiful, elegant pose there. And now we'll try and bring belly button up towards your spine. So as you do that, you can maybe feel a little bit more supported through the lower back. You can stay there or coming into seal pose, so keeping that little connection of your navel like a press stud as you straighten the arms. Beautiful, without locking the elbows. Take the elbows nice and wide. Make a support for the head, bend your knees, point the toes up towards the ceiling and just sway the feet from side to side just to release off through the back. Beautiful. And then releasing the legs down, hands under shoulders as you push your way back up onto all fours. You can work from all fours tonight, or if you want to join me in a downward dog just to stretch out the legs, we'll tuck the toes under. Only one of the class, as you straighten the legs up. So either staying on all fours and doing cat-cow, or having a little pedal out. Oh, that feels quite nice. That was a satisfying click through my ankle there. A little shake of the head. By now our hair must surely be reaching our mats. And as you find your downward dog, again, that lovely long line, arms in line with the sides of the body. Little tilt of your pubic bone up towards the ceiling so you can get that lovely, spacious lower back. Beautiful. Looking forwards between your hands, we're going to bend the knees and step will help your right foot forwards, lowering that back knee, so you can always do it from all fours. Lovely. I'm going to flatten that back foot. Walking your way up into a nice lunge there. Beautiful. So we'll keep the right hand on top of your knee and just circle that left arm all the way forwards and up. And then reach it back behind you, turning the chest as you bring that arm back level with your shoulder. And then inhale, we circle the arm forwards and up. And just pause as you reach the arm back, so we're getting that lovely openness through the chest. Lovely. Just once more, inhaling up. Lovely one to release the shoulders. Exhale. Beautiful. This time let's reach that left arm up. And the right arm joins it. So sweep both arms up towards the ceiling. Find that lovely crescent lunge. And then taking a turn towards the right. Bring the back of that left hand to the outside of the leg. And we'll wrap the right hand around the low back. So we're in a twist the opposite way now. And just push your hand against your knee, knee against your hand, and maybe take a little turn of the head. So there's a little bit of balance required there as well, to keep the body nice and upright. A little bit of resistance, hand pushes into knee, knee pushes into hand. So you might feel a little bit of firing up through the outer hip. Come all the way back through center. We'll bring the hands down to frame the foot and either step back onto all fours or pick up the back knee and step back into your downward facing dog. So again, really listening, what do your body need? Do you want to feel a little bit more energy? Just sort of hang out in all fours. Have a little pedal out, have a shake of the head, really easy downward dog. And then we'll try that on the other side. So we bend the knees, back forwards and step or help, whatever energy you've got left, that left leg forwards, and we'll lower the back knee, flattening the foot. Walking your way up into that lunge. So this time we've got the left leg forwards and the left hand stays on top of the knee or the thigh. So that right arm, sweep it forwards and up. So as you turn the chest, we reach back in line with the shoulder. We just pause there, getting that lovely chest opener. And then that inhale carries the arm forwards and up. And exhale, turn the chest, reach the arm all the way back. Lovely. So it's a lovely one to lubricate the shoulder. Inhale. And exhale. That little pause at the end of the exhale. Last time, all the way forwards and up. And then we'll reach back. So this time as you sweep the arm up, we'll bring the left arm up to join it. So we're just in that lovely sense of lengthening all four sides of the waist in that crescent lunge. And then taking a turn to the left, back of the right hand slices across to the outer knee or thigh, and we wrap the other hand behind. So you're looking maybe over that back shoulder. Again, that little pushing of your knee into your hand, hand against knee just helps keep you stable, as well as firing up into the hip there. Beautiful. And then slowly, slowly release, bringing the hands down. Last time, picking up that back knee. Last time in the class for a downward dog. So enjoy it, have a little pedal or a swing of the hips. Just again, do whatever you need to do just to loosen off that downward dog. And then we'll drop back down onto all fours. Knees wide or together, choice is yours. Flatten the feet and we'll take the hips all the way back down into that child pose. Reaching the arms forward. A little space for the belly if you want to pop the knees slightly. And a nice lateral one just for the hips. Nudging your bottom to the left. Just take both hands over to the right side of your mat. You can keep them apart. You can stack one on top of the other. But try and sit back into that left hip and try and drop that left arm so the armpit is closed towards the floor rather than open towards the ceiling. And take a couple of nice expansive breaths into that left side of the body. Ooh, opening up in the top of the hip. This lovely banana stretch through the body. All the way from your fingertips down to the top of the hip. And then we'll walk the hands back through center, squaring up through the hips. And then nudging the hips to the right. Hands come over to the left. Again, you can keep them apart or rest one on top of the other. And again, we try and sit a little bit more heavily towards that right side, closing off that right armpit by just dropping that right shoulder. It evens off across the upper back as well. Lovely. Again, that sense of really breathing into that right lung. I know we can't breathe into one lung or the other, but just that sense of opening up some space in that right side. Lovely. And then coming all the way back through center. We're going to come up onto all fours. pick up your shins, cross your feet. Now, if this doesn't work for you, come and join us seated. If you want a little ankle stretch, you bring the feet down and see if you can roll over your feet to come onto your bottoms. Lovely. So it really doesn't matter which leg you've got in front of you. You can stretch the legs out. I'll come and sit in front of you again. Again, if you want to pop a little cushion under your hips. So a little one just to loosen off into our shoulders. So we'll bring your right hand in a fist to your right shoulder. Really doesn't matter what your legs are doing. Now reach that right arm all the way up, like the Statue of Liberty. Punch that arm up, and then spread the fingers nice and wide, and turn the palm away from you. And without the body leaning forward, reach as far back as you can, circling through the arm. And then make a fist and bring that fist into your lower back. Roll that right shoulder all the way back and down. And then let's drop left ear to left shoulder. So right shoulder back. You might even bring that left hand onto your shoulder to keep it just gently in place there. And keep the body upright. So we kind of tend to tilt to the left there. So keep sitting evenly through your sit bones. If you've got that hand on the shoulder, just release the left hand down and bring the head all the way back up to center. Now that right hand, stretch it out to the side. Spread the fingers and turn the palm up towards the ceiling. And see if you can even turn the little finger edge of your hand up towards the ceiling. And that leads the way as you come all the way back up. And then make that fist and bring it down to the shoulder. One more, then we're going to add on. So punch the arm up, Statue of Liberty like. Spread the fingers, turn the palm away from you. Big scoop of the arm without leaning forward, so as far as feels comfortable. Making that gentle fist into the low back. Roll that right shoulder all the way back and down. Again, you might want to anchor it in place as you drop left ear to left shoulder. If you want a little bit more, that left hand comes all the way overhead, just brushing the ear with your fingertips. Try and create a little bit more space down that side of the neck without the body leaning to the left. And now, very gentle pressure here. Just push your hand down and your head up. So there's a little bit of resistance between your head and your hand, just as we had with our hand and our knee when we were in the lunge. But don't overdo that. And then relax that resistance and just see if you can allow the head to drop over to the left a little further. Lovely. And then just bring that left hand all the way down to the cheek. So you can bring the head back up through center. You can bring that left hand down to your lap or your knee as you stretch that right arm out to the side. Unfurl the fist, turning the palm, little finger edge of the hand if you can, leading the way all the way up. And then bring that hand all the way down. Lovely. We'll try that on the other side. So left fist to shoulder. Punch the arm up. Spread the fingers. Turn the palm away from you. Again, that big scoop back. So try and keep the body upright. Really gets into the shoulder. And we bring that fist into the low back. Roll the shoulder all the way back. Create that space. And then drop opposite ear. So right ear to shoulder. Oh, let go of the weak. Get that nice sense of space there. If your shoulder's kind of rolling forwards, you can give it a gentle hand, a little reminder to yourself to keep it there. That's it. And then lifting the head. Just releasing that right hand down if it's on the shoulder. Stretch the arm out to the side, still in that fist. And then unfurl the fist, turn the palm up. If you can, little finger edge of the hand leads the way as you sweep the arm up. And then bring the fist all the way down to the shoulder. Lovely. Punch it up. Spread the fingers, turn the palm, scoop it back. You might find one side feels a little bit less crunchy than the other. And then we bring that fist to the low back. A roll of the shoulder to lift and open up some space before we drop right ear to right shoulder. And again, you might want to bring that right hand just overhead, fingertips brush the ear. Very gently, almost imagine you're just eking out a little bit more space there. And then again, very gentle pressure. You push your head against your hand and your hand into your head. Ooh. Oh, and then just relax the pressure and see if your neck just relaxes a little bit more and create a little bit more length through the left side of the neck. Beautiful, and then we slide the hand down just to nestle into your right cheek. So you can gently push the head up, release the hand, reaching that left arm out to the side in that fist. Unfurl the fist so the palm faces up. Even the little finger edge of your hand maybe can lead the way all the way up. And then bring the hand all the way down. Lovely. Hands come behind you so you can lean into the hands and give the legs a little shake. Lovely. And then we'll bring right heel into groin and take the left leg out on a diagonal, nice and wide. And just take a moment to, again, wobble around on your bottom there so you can find that central axis of your spine sitting evenly through your sit bones. Left hand, just comes down to the floor alongside the hip. Reaching that right arm all the way up. Take a nice side stretch. We've not done any side bending really, have we? All the way over to the left. Beautiful. And then come all the way back through center. And turning the body now so you're more or less chest in line with that extended leg, hands just on either side as you inhale. And as you exhale, we'll take a little forward fold. So you might need to physically draw that left hip slightly back towards you. As you elongate the body forwards, try and relax the opposite knee. Lovely. And if you feel that you're kind of veering off somewhere in the middle, then you might bring your right hand to the outside of that left foot, or even just to the outside of your shin, or your calf, or even your thigh, and just try and square your chest off. So you can have the hand quite high up the leg, just to get that sense of bringing the body round towards that extended left leg. Just helps kind of direct the chest where you want it to go. Lovely. Slowly, slowly release. And this time we'll bring the left hand down and circle the right hand down. Getting after all of that about mirroring, I'm getting confused. Right hand down, left arm sweeps in front of the face. And just as we did before, you can continue to lift the hips, coming onto the inside edge of the foot, pushing the hips forwards. And again, we take that delicious arcing of the body back. Lovely. Slowly, slowly, let's lower down. Bring the hands behind you so you can switch legs nice and easily. So we've got the left heel in, right leg extended this time. Beautiful. So right hand just comes down to the floor. Reaching up through that left arm, take an inhale, and exhale, nice side stretch over. Oh, lovely one to stretch out through the side of the body. Nice. And then we'll come all the way back up through center. So again, as I bring my hands down, I can feel that my chest is kind of facing forward. So I'm going to physically lift my hips up and just draw that right hip back ever so slightly. So I'm kind of turning my chest over on the diagonal, ready for that little forward fold. Give yourself a few breaths to settle in, see how that feels. Try to soften that left knee. And if knee doesn't work for you like that, you can always just bring your foot to the floor and have the knee pointed up towards the ceiling. And again, if you just want to angle the chest a little bit more squarely over the leg, back of that left hand just comes to your outer thigh, your shin, or you maybe even can take hold of the outside edge of your foot if your hamstrings are a little warmer tonight. Lovely. And then we'll come all the way back through center. This time it's the left hand we bring down, just alongside the hip. Rolling that right arm all the way in front of the face, maybe pushing the hips up, coming onto the inside edge. So you take that right arm, almost kind of comes back behind the line of the body if you want. So you come into almost a variation of wild thing, a nice back bend there, nice and safely. And then slowly, slowly we'll come all the way back down. Beautiful. Hands come behind you so you can stretch the legs out. And then we'll bring the soles of the feet together. Now I'm going to keep my heels quite far away from my groin there, so I've got quite a big diamond shape with my legs because my hips are tight. So if your hips are tight, further away your heels are from your groin, this kind of softer the work on the hips. You might be able to bring the heels in the choice is yours. And just bringing your hands onto your shins or your ankles there. We'll try and bring your elbows onto your inner knees. If that doesn't work, just bring your hands onto your inner knees. And as you push your knees up, we're pushing down with your hands or your elbows. So again, that little resistance. Your knees want to close together and your elbows want to keep them apart. Lovely. Don't hold the breath. Might be a bit of shaking. And then relax that resistance and see if the knees just widen and relax a little bit more. You might even be able to bring your heels a little closer. Do that once more. So that resistance down with the elbows, up and in with the knees. Ooh, a little bit of quivering. And then relax. You might just want to stay there holding on around your shins or your ankles. Or something I like to do these days is just bring my hands a little further forwards. And again, I can just allow my chin to drop down towards my chest. Trying to relax my knees, which is no easy task when your hips are tight, but try and relax your knees. If the hips are tight, just slide the heels a little further away from you so you're broadening that angle at the back of the knee there. Oh, that feels quite nice actually. I think I'll stay there. Lovely, softening into that. And slowly, slowly bringing the shoulders back above your hips. Bring the hands to the outside of the knees. We'll bring the feet to the floor, the knees together. Hands just come down behind you and take a little drop of the knees from side to side like little windscreen wipers. Just to loosen off through the hips there. Beautiful. I'm just going to turn around just so I'm back on the middle of the mat. So if any of you have turned on your mat, you might want to bring yourself back onto the middle of the mat. And we'll just bring the legs to stillness, parting the feet to about hip width apart, bringing the heels close to your bottom. And come all the way back down. Oh, onto the mats. Reach the arms back behind you. Stretch out one leg and then the other. Come into that delicious full body stretch. Oh, that feels nice. Where can you find a little bit more space? And then point the right toes, reach back with the right fingertips. You might feel that left hip kind of sliding up towards your left armpit as you reach through the right side. And then change sides, so you reach back with the right fingertips. Point the left toes, lefts and rights all over the shop tonight. Do one more each way. First the right side, elongating, left hip sliding up towards armpit. And then the left side. Beautiful. Then coming back to that full body stretch, stretch, stretch. And then like a big snow angel, bring the arms all the way back down alongside you, turning the palms up towards the ceiling. If you want to keep the legs outstretched, let's separate the feet about hip width apart. And just flip-flop the feet in and out a few times, just a really easy flip-flop, flip-flop. And then flop the toes out to the side, literally let them go. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale with a sigh. Do that a couple of times. No one's there to hear you. So take a nice deep breath in. And let go of the week. Breathe it out as you exhale through the mouth. Just once more. Sound is really good. Breathing in. This time as you exhale, really sense all of that sense of deflating. And closing the eyes, allowing the breath just to settle into a comfortable rhythm. Of course, if the back is tight, bending your knees and bringing your heels wider out towards the edge of your mat so you can knock your knees together. We're just going to come up to seating, but you stay there just for a few moments in Shavasana. Another lovely quote from Pema Chodron, I spoke about at the beginning, was she wrote, "Ventilate your life's atmosphere by creating breathing space." So create a little bit of breathing space. At the end of a hot, busy week, just take a moment there to let the body breathe. Let the body soften. And let the mind just become involved and interested in that path of breath. Using that breath to anchor us in that present moment, because that's all we ever have, here and now. If the mind is busy, then give it something to think about by attaching maybe a couple of words, a word to inhale, a word to exhale. I do this at night when I can't sleep. Maybe that word that you breathe in is peace, breathing in peace. And breathing out calm. Breathing in that sense of peace. Breathing out, allow the body and the mind to become calm. Peace as you inhale. Calmness of body, mind and spirit as you exhale. Mantras can sometimes be really helpful when our mind is busy jumping from thing to thing. So rather than trying to ignore it, give it something to think about. Give it a word, a feeling, a sensation, but make sure those words or feelings are something that we want to cultivate, something we want to invite in. Breathing in peace and breathing out calm. And trying to stay connected to that present moment, that sense of peace and calm that you've cultivated. Just begin gently to wiggle fingers, maybe again that lazy rolling of the feet in and out if you're lying outstretched. And if your knees are bent, feel free to join us, stretching the legs out as we all maybe take the arms for one last beautiful full body stretch, extending them back above the head, and take a moment there to cultivate that sense of breathing space now as you breathe. It's the space behind you, the space above you. And take your time, there's no rush at all to just gather your knees in towards your chest when you're ready. Heels in towards bottom and then giving the knees a little squeeze. Yeah, and some of you almost intuitively start to move there. You want to rock or circle, circling of the knees, or sometimes it's nice just to stay still. Just again cultivating that sense of calm and peace, whatever works for you. And then wherever there's space to the right or the left of you, just roll onto that space. And just pause there for a moment with your knees drawn up towards your chest in that little fetal position. And then trying to retain that sense of peace and calm as you join me in a comfortable seated position. Again, you might want to just rock from side to side or back and forth until you find that central axis of your spine from which you can lift up and out of the hips, softening shoulders. Bring the hands just as that final gesture, that Anjali Mudra, thumbs towards breastbone. And just try lifting your breastbone to meet your thumbs. It really just lengthen up through the front seam of the body, creating and cultivating more breathing space. And I'll leave you with just one final quote, that lovely book. And that's to smile, to breathe, and to go slowly. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen.
Thank you.